Vivian Paley, 138. Look at this thing, Jason shows me, a construction made of small plastic squares. Look at teacher, I builded this. If you get down, it's sort of a plane. It goes up here, and look how far, then I have to make it again. You like it better when you build your own plane, I think. Better than a plane from a store. Why do I? Then you take it apart and build it again. I really do take it apart. Not pretend, you really do take it apart. Pretend is one of the subjects Jason is studying. It is not easy. Here, he is really taking apart something that is a pretend airplane, but which he calls a real airplane. At noon, waiting to be picked up, Jason demonstrates the dimensions of his problems with pretend. As we arrange ourselves on the front steps, Alex accidentally sits on Jason's feet, and Jason responds, "Oh, he's pretending to sit on my feet." Alex is surprised. "No, I didn't pretend. I really did sit on your feet." "You really did, but it was an accident." "Oh." Jason uses pretend in an unfamiliar way, surprising even another child. Is it a simple error, a slip of the tongue, or does this represent a deep confusion? What if Jason thinks pretending something makes it actually accidentally happen? These are concepts that cannot be taught, but scenes such as the following, played out a few feet from his heliport, should provide a broad area in which to study the enigma. "Pretend you're the baby brother plane," Simon says, "and I'm the daddy." "Tell me you're scared." "I'm scared, Daddy," Joseph replies. "Don't worry, baby brother plane. You won't fall out. I'm locking up 2 doors. Look at the door. It's an exit door. You can't fall out. Fly up higher." Joseph is apparently at the same time the baby brother plane and the baby brother on the plane. Locking the door keeps the baby brother and the plane itself from falling out. It is complicated for me, but not for Joseph and Simon, whose play is often worked out on several levels. Yet if Jason is the sort of child who measures each new experience with a teaspoon, he could be blocked by the very richness of the play that surrounds him. His own play, the part we hear, is monochromatic by comparison. If there is a baby sister helicopter in his mind, the effort required to keep the unwanted image at bay might prevent Jason from opening the doors to his play. Once he gives himself over to a full-scale fantasy play with others, anything hidden might emerge. If pretend induces the accidental, how can one predict what will happen? Did Alex really not see Jason's feet? Was he pretending in his mind to sit on Jason's feet and therefore it occurred? In a way, pretend does cause accidents. We have all experienced during a moment of fantasy the appearance of a long-forgotten and unwelcome memory. This must be happening to Jason, and he is cautious. He has a good reason to believe that in spontaneous play, such accidents are more likely to materialize. Lest I appear to make too much of a singular incident, it is no more, I think, than Jason himself does. He takes error seriously. He wraps himself in one fantasy, learns all the pitfalls, and avoids any extracurricular fantasy in which mistakes or accidents might occur. He practices mistakes, perhaps in order to recognize one quickly when it comes along. I call my analytical exercises teaching. Jason calls his play. As my imagination leads me from one rationalization to another, the children follow their instincts into dramatic interpretations of the same events. This group fantasy is a round table discussion in story form. "The drawbridge is opening," Simon shouts. "Hurry it up, the airport's closing." Joseph responds, "Pretend it can't open." "Hey, Jason, make a drawbridge like we got, and then we pretend ours is stuck, and we fly around, and then we see yours, okay?" "I don't got a drawbridge." "Then you can't keep out bad guys. Ha ha!" "Ha ha yourself," Samantha retorts. "Jason doesn't have bad guys, but sometimes I'm one, Samantha," he tells her. "Oh, when the teacher locked you up in there?" "Yeah, and then Joseph found the key," Jason remembers with satisfaction. "And sometimes I make bad crashes. And then you fix it, right?" It is pointless for me to protest that I did not in fact lock anyone up, for they are using the incident in order to discuss good and bad. Jason and his helicopter are both good and bad, creating scenes that help bail them out of trouble and despair. And who am I while all this is going on? Well, when I jump into someone's fantasy and insist it is all wrong, I must be the bad wolf or the witch. Boys, look what you're doing. The doll corner is a blizzard of dress-ups and pillows, and we just cleaned up. Now hang all those things up, please." We smothered the robbers, Joseph says, but you left a huge mess for the teachers. From the looks on their faces, my disapproval may be worse than the timeout chair. There is a whispered conference, a moment of silence, and then, when I am presumably out of range of hearing, Simon says, "Look in the bathroom there, a blue witch with gray hair, a gray monster. She can make a fire in her mouth. Watch her, she's looking." Pretending I've not heard, I call out, "Boys, I could use your help here if you have the time." I splattered paint on the sinks. "Tell you what, I'll help you in there, then you can help me with the brushes and sinks in here." Simon hugs me when I come in, and seeing me return the hug, Joseph and Edward rush to throw their arms around me. As I've said before, there's nothing quite so grand a feeling as helping one another out of a trap. But some traps are harder to climb out than others. "You're blocking both doorways, Jason," I call out later from the story table. "No one will be able to go into the hallway. Our classroom is created out of several bedrooms of an old house. Has two doors side by side. We have a rule, Jason. Nobody can cover both doors at once." "Don't say that to me," Jason cries angrily. "I must tell you the rule, Jason." He continues to pile up blocks across both entrances. "Don't come back and say it. Jason, you may not cover both doors. Decide which doorway you like best, and I'll help you move the other blocks." "No, no," he's now crying furiously, pushing blocks. "I'm going to be pushing blocks." "Don't push them down. You'll hurt someone." "It would be horrible," he screams. "Horrible, horrible, horrible. If I knock down the building." "Don't do it, please." Jason stands still, crying softly. I'm going to stop crying. I'm going to open one door all the way open. I'm not going to push the blocks. He says all these things in a stilted manner, as if speaking firmly to himself. I put my arm around him. "Thanks, Jason. That's a big help." Jason turns to me, wiping his eyes. "If you walk through this way, all the school building will fall down." "Pretend fall down?" "Pretend school building," he replies. Jason speaks to his tiny Lego people and makes each figure push down a plastic tree. Don't do that. Look, teacher, they pushed down all the trees. I told them only push down 7. Aren't they bad?" Some might insist that Jason is simply demonstrating very young behavior. The 2-year-old's acting out a parental no-nos, immature, in the most negative label throughout the school years. For me, such labels are useless. A child is always at a certain complex point of development. Like Jason, everyone in every endeavor will continue to use techniques from the past in order to understand and work out ways to live securely in the present.